We are live on Empower 360 podcast, where we give purpose and enlightenment to humanity. And we are transmitting live in the studios of Empower 360. We do this to empower people to do what inspires them, whereas we dip into the transformative power of personal growth, leadership, and inspiration. I am your host, and my name is Enoch Chanimbe, and I'm co-hosting this event with Liliefa. And we are here to guide you on a journey of empowerment, providing you with the tools, insights, and stories you need to unlock your full potential and live your best life. Join us each and every 2 weeks as we explore the secrets to success, hear from inspiring guests, and embark on a quest for personal and professional growth. Get ready to elevate your mindset, ignite your passion, and unleash your greatness with Empower 360. In the house with me is Liefa. Our topic for today is reciprocity, and doing us the honors to take us on this journey is a giant who is a Ghanaian-based, Ghana and Canada trained, award-winning general, and pediatric radiologist.
Founder and CEO at RAND Medical Imaging and Health Systems, and a senior specialist radiologist at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Accra, Ghana. She was the radiology team lead for the group of medical professionals that separated the Bansa conjoined twins at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital in 2022, and the first and currently the only trained pediatric radiologist in Ghana. She is a co-author of the anthology African Women Who Inspire, a compilation of stories of possibilities and resilience written by a group of African women across the world to inspire hope. She is a part-time lecturer at the Accra College of Medicine and passionate when it comes to teaching medical students, doctors, and other health professionals in further trainings. She's also a philanthropist and passionate about serving underprivileged communities and children. She also enjoys teaching and talking about relationships and health issues, and seeks to inspire people, particularly the young and underprivileged, to press on towards their dreams and aim to become better versions of themselves no matter their circumstances. Our speaker for today is a believer in the Christian fraternity. She also enjoys work as a radiologist, reading, watching movies, spending time with children, and organizing community health and charity outreaches. Ladies and gentlemen, with a warm welcome and the power vested in me as a host of today's podcast, I introduce to you Dr. Rosemond Aboagye.
Wow, Enoch, thank you so very much. I'm almost shy. You said a lot. Please give me a minute. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to be here to speak to amazing people like you. If you know somebody who is supposed to be on the platform who isn't yet, I think it's a good time to give them a message that we are starting. And I hope that by the end of this session, all of us will be empowered and be better versions of ourselves. And our topic for today is reciprocity. I would want it to be as interactive as possible. And so for the beginning, I would want to ask anybody at all, as many people as are willing to give us an idea what they understand by the concept of reciprocity. Remember, this is a friendly zone. There are no wrong answers and people are free to speak their minds. Hey, somebody move my slide and give the apple away. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Doc.
Yeah, so anybody at all, what do we, when we hear the word reciprocity, what comes to mind? How do we understand it? And if nobody talks, you set the ball rolling. No?
I think reciprocity means that the practice of exchanging things with others for mutual benefits, maybe cooperation or understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Anybody else has any understanding? This is a very practical subject, so I would want us to feel free. We are going to discuss personal experiences and examples where this principle has worked for us. And there are several definitions, but I put one or two down. So basically, reciprocity is a practice of exchanging mutual benefits or favors. It can be between individuals or between groups. And some people define it as a social norm, where if somebody does something for you, you feel obligated to return the favor. It normally would involve giving and receiving in a balanced and mutually beneficial manner. And I've put that in a color for a reason. As we go ahead, you would understand. And it is a give and take or a two-way street. Some people call it tit for tat. A lot of the time when we hear tit for tat, it has a negative connotation. But really what it means is that you get something for giving something back. So in a broad sense, this is what reciprocity means. And this is one of the symbols associated with the concept we are describing. What we give, we get back. And really, life in general is a system of cycles. You can describe it in many, many different ways, but it is always a cycle. You give something to somebody, the person gives back to you. So, for example, we are living in this environment. We have human beings, we have plants, we have animals, we have the soil. We are constantly taking from the environment and also giving back to the environment. So if you have a tree in your house, the tree takes in carbon dioxide, uses it to prepare the food that you pluck, the fruits or whatever you harvest from the tree. And so you don't just get the fruit from the tree, you also get oxygen in return. So you breathe out carbon dioxide, the plant takes it, and then it gives you oxygen that you as a human being needs. And we constantly feed from plants that are also feeding from the earth. And when we die, unfortunately, it's a truth, we are all going to die at some point. When you die, your body goes back into the soil to nourish the soil. And the nourishment from your body becomes substance for trees to use to feed future generations. And so when you look at life, it is always this system of cycles. What feeds you, you feed back. What blesses you, you should bless back. Or if somebody blesses you, you may not need to bless the same person, but you should also bless somebody back. I remember hearing, I said I was going to research on this, it escaped me, but I heard from second-hand information. I didn't find it myself. Somebody describing the Red Sea, the Dead Sea, and you're saying that we say it is dead because it receives and doesn't give back. It always takes, and so the water is so dense, it's so salty, and it cannot support life. And so anybody or any system that takes and does not give back is bound to die, and we'll discuss that as we move along. Reciprocity is important in many different aspects of life. It's important in our personal relationships, whether it is somebody you are in a love relationship with or just family or platonic relationships. It plays a very significant role in our professional lives or professional careers, and even in societal or normal society interactions. Reciprocity is so important, and we are going to give examples from our own lives. Each and every one of us is going to give an example of a time when reciprocity has worked, and it plays a very important role in, first of all, initiating or building a relationship and maintaining the relationship, fostering trust, and also creating a sense of fairness and cooperation. One other thing that reciprocity does is that, but it's so powerful without you talking, just by being reciprocal or just by initiating a good deed, you persuade others to adopt certain beliefs or behaviors. And it is one of the most powerful tools that can be used to influence behavior. And so I'll give one example just came to mind. Dr. Quantin, this example involves you having asked your permission, but please permit me to use it. So normally, most mornings when I wake up, I will send Dr. Quantin a message and then he would also respond, or vice versa. Definitely one person would send a message and another person will respond. So there was this time I woke up in the morning, I picked my phone and I started to type a good morning. But then when I typed the message, what I normally called him, I decided that day I wasn't going to call him by that name. And instead I put the good morning, my king, okay? So when I sent the message, he replied, just as my message was going, his message came to my phone. And he had used our normal, how we call each other. But then when he saw what I had put down, he quickly edited this. You know now WhatsApp, you can edit. Then he edited his message and also wrote Queen. And that's a very powerful example of what reciprocity does. When you treat people in a certain way, when you give people certain favors, even if it wasn't their intent, just because you have initiated it, they feel the urge or the need to pay you back in kind. And that is why reciprocity is a very powerful tool. If you are in any kind of leadership role, if you want to influence people in any way, then this is one of the tools you need in your tools box. We are going to give examples of how reciprocity has worked in our lives. And for me, I'm going to give you two examples now, and then I'll open the floor for people to also give examples. So when I moved to my house in Kaswa, you know, it's a place that is not very well. There are a few houses, but it's not like when you are in a place like Dansuman or Polygon, where there are a lot of people. And so I realized that, look, I don't know these people. They probably don't even know that I have moved into this house. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to find time and go around the neighborhood and greet all my neighbors and introduce myself to them. And you know, when I did that kind of thing, it gave them the opportunity to also relate to me. Now, when I'm not home, which is quite often, they are watching my house because they know that normally Doc is not home. And when they see that there's anything funny going on, sometimes somebody will call me on the phone, Doc, are you home? I see this man hovering around your gate. Can you imagine if I moved in and I didn't mind anybody, like I'm minding my own business? Maybe for them to, if they see something funny going on, nobody would bother to say anything or to ask any questions. And so by me reaching out and extending a hand of friendship to my neighbors, they also started to watch out for me. And I remember one time I was home and somebody knocked on my door. The person rang the gate bell. So I went to look. And it was a woman with a baby at her back. And it happens very often. I don't know, I'm sure we've all experienced it. And she was like, she doesn't have money to feed her child. You know, the usual story. And she was telling me, and I've had a few bad experiences with people like that. But at this point, suddenly, my mind went back to 30 years ago when my mother was in that kind of situation where there were many days she would wake up and she had no idea how she was going to feed us. And random strangers would give her food and she would feed us with it. And so I remembered the people in my neighborhood who would give my mother food. And I told myself that I've benefited from people who have given, they gave to my mother without knowing if she was ever going to be able to pay back. And that is what we lived on at some point in our life. And so, although I may never see those neighbors from all those years back, I still remember that somebody did something like that for my mother and for us when we were younger. And that stirred up compassion in me. I'm like, okay, so this is my time to give back. And so you imagine how much the things people, even if the people you give to, you never see them again, some way, somehow, the benefits will come back to you in a different way. And it is, the converse is true. Somebody blesses you, you never get a chance to bless that person because at the time you were not in a position to. But years down the line, you find yourself in a position to pay back. Not exactly what the person paid you, but in a different form. And not to that same person, but to somebody else. And this is what keeps humanity going. And so on that note, I'm going to pause briefly. I'm sure that some of you have remembered a few times when reciprocity has influenced your behavior or caused you to do things or caused other people to do things for you. And I think it would be a nice time for us to recollect and share with the group some of these experiences. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, it's always a very good idea.
Okay, let's go.
So at this juncture, you can put up your hand if you want to talk. Then we put you in.
And when people are not raising their hands, please call your friends.
Okay.
Don't be shy.
So let's let's roll, Lily. Lily, can you do the honors and give us your own example?
Oh, come on. Call someone else. I will share mine. Like, I'll be the last person to share mine. Yeah.
Hey, Lily.
Oh, dog. Okay, well, so when I came to Canada, in school, I have a friend who helps me do my assignment all the time. So such a person, when she asks me for something, I cannot turn her down. Even if it's not with my last penny, I will share it with her because I know she held me up when I was stressed out. I was mentally draining. So to me, that's one. It's very recent. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Okay, we'll continue and hopefully, please, you just be going through in your mind if you come by any example that you think illustrates this principle very well. You can bring it up. I do have a few more examples, but I shouldn't be the only one. I mean, we all have things happening in our lives, right?
Okay, Doug, I think we have somebody.
Okay.
Yes. Please, you can share your.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I have some kids that I do take care of them in terms of their tuition and school. So
can you get close to the microphone a little bit? We hardly hear you.
Is it better now?
Yes.
So I was saying that I have these kids that I do take care of their tuition in school. Okay, so these very twins, they've even finished their high school, junior high school, and they are in secondary school now. Mine is up to JSS level. So they're in secondary school now, and I'm not taking care of them anymore. But what happened, that I picked them from class 2. They were twins that I was taking care of them. Recently, I went through, let me say, some kind of financial distress within some few months back. So at a point about not less than 2 months ago, at a point we were actually stuck on what to even eat at home. By the time I realized, these two girls came to the house and they brought some groceries with some food stuff here and there. And I was surprised. They even wrote a letter thanking me that I was the one who introduced them to swimming lessons, and their first time they ate pizza on their birthday and all those things. And in fact, my family was very surprised to get that kind of gesture from them, that at least they could remember all these years from class 2 to JSS 3 that they wrote their BEC. So I think that's what I would share.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Morgan. That is a very humbling story. Yeah. Anybody else before we move on? Okay, so I'm going to move on. If you think of anything you want to share, just keep it. We are going to have another opportunity to share again. So the concept or law of reciprocity is not just limited to, personal life. Even in business or in the field of work, it works very well. So I've listed a few examples. So if you are in an office where you tend to offer compliments and you recognize colleagues, or if you are a boss, you recognize employees, for example, you can have an award system, or even just verbally, you did a very good job with the case I put you on the last time. That boosts morale. So the person feels like, then I need to do better. One example that just came to mind right now, in fact, I hadn't thought about it until just this very moment. But for the past couple of months, I've been going round to schools to talk to young people. And one thing I noticed as one time, one of the schools, when I got up to speak, I paid a compliment to the crowd. I think I said something about they were beautiful people, some kind of general compliment. And I was shocked at their response. Like all of them went like, oh. And then suddenly their attention shot up. It just shot up. So this is just an example of a personal experience I've had with this principle. Sometimes you are in a workplace and you may, by virtue of your training or experience and exposure, know a little more than the other people you work with. So you can provide them with insight and advice, guide them as to how to go about some of the, you can share your knowledge with them. And when you do that, they also, we have a proverb in our local dialect, and they say, so what you are sharing, definitely that person also knows something that you do not know. And once they see that you keep sharing with them, a time will come when what they also know would be of benefit to you. And because you have already established that relationship, it is very natural and easy for them to also share with you what they know. I'm a radiologist, I'm a doctor, and in our practice, there are some people who know things that you do not know, because every day new things are coming up, new skills. And so what I know, I have a colleague who I'm very close with. I have a lot of colleagues, but this particular one I do a lot of sharing with. Whenever I have a case that I'm not too sure, or I want an opinion, I send it to her. Then she gives me her opinion. She has a different field of specialty. I also do. And so when she also gets a case, which is my field of specialty, then she'll call me or she'll send me the image. Then I'll look at it and then we'll discuss together. And so that is another example. In your field of work, help somebody with what you know. And when it comes to the time when they can also help you with their knowledge, it becomes very easy and sweet. Sometimes you can decide to mentor or coach somebody. It can be in your field of expertise, your company has sponsored you to go and learn something that other people do not know. When you come, mentor other people, coach them, guide them. They would also assist you in other ways. Maybe they never know as much as you do, but knowing that you are helping them, they will definitely find a way to help you or to serve you in return. In business, we do a lot of networking. Now relationships are a very important currency. In some places, the relationship is even more important than the schools you have gone to and the qualifications you have. And so when you have a network and then you refer people, maybe, Mr. Morgan can do this. Somebody else who needs Mr. Morgan services, you link him, you link people. Definitely, once you do that, at some point, somebody would also remember that Mr. Abebrese is good in this field. So let me also refer him to this client who needs the services. And last but not the least, in my example for business, celebrating achievement. I mean, when people, we need to recognize and to celebrate the achievement that people bring on board. And when we do that, it's like they have put in the effort. Recognize them. You can buy them a gift, or you can just make a nice plaque, put in the office. And I'm talking in terms of being the boss, but it also works the other way. If you are a worker and your boss recognizes the effort you put in, the successes you took for the company, and he recognizes it and you see it, your colleagues applaud you, you see your name on the plaque on the wall, worker of the year, it boosts your confidence and it gives you the edge to want to do more. So these are a few of the many, many ways in which reciprocity works. And this law works whether or not you are deliberate about it. It is a natural law. Sometimes you don't know. One of the things I noticed, even before I started to study this subject of reciprocity, I noticed that when I have patients and I smile at them, I'm friendly with them, suddenly their wall of defenses melts away and then they open up. I've had cases where the person comes in, they are angry, maybe from the reception before they go to me as a doctor. Somebody said or did something that they didn't like, so they come with a wall, let me put it that way. But then, irrespective of how they come, I always wear a smile. And I'll ask their name, I'll ask them something about themselves. If it's about pregnancy, do you have other children? I make conversation, and invariably, it's only once in a while that you meet some people that they decide that they are not human. But invariably, when you are nice to people, even if they haven't intended to be nice, they will be nice. When you give people love, they are forced to love you in return. A few days ago, I was driving to work. I think I was sitting with Dr. Cranton. We were driving to Accra, and then I got a call. It was from a lady in my church. And this lady, we are not friends. We just go to the same church. But for the past 6 months or getting to 1 year, at least once every month, she would call me on the phone. Oh, how are you? I was just calling to check up on you. She does it. She's done it consistently for more than 6 months. And so, I feel some kind of love towards her. I'm like, what have I done to this woman that she's always checking up on me? And each time she calls, I'll tell her that, I will also call you back. Sometimes when I'm going to church, I feel like I should go and give her a gift. Then I buy something and I go and give it to her. If she had not initiated that kind of rapport, I'm sure we would just be meeting each other in church and just be saying hello, good morning, or good afternoon. But she went the extra mile to try and form a relationship with me. And because of that, I've also made the relationship to grow by doing other things with her. Hey, I'm sharing all my experiences. So. Important to note. Please, you also share some of yours, okay? Does somebody want to say something?
Dog, I'm not sure.
Okay. It is important to note that not every act of like good that you do will immediately be rewarded. No, it's not. It doesn't work that way. And the other thing to know is that the people or the person you do the good acts to may not necessarily be the person to give you back. Okay. And it is also important that when you are doing good, any kind of good deed for any kind of person or any group of persons, you should do it without expecting anything in return. Just do it because that is the right thing to do. And be sure that giving enough effort and time, whatever you put into life, you will get it back. It is a known fact that whatever you put in life, you get it back. It doesn't matter how long it takes. And you get it back not in the same measure. Even the good book says that give, and it will be given back to you. Pressed down, shaking together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. So what you give, nature has a way of multiplying it and giving it back to you. And you will not get it in the same form. So you may give money, but you don't get it back as money. You get it back as mercy. Or you help somebody, like the way Kofi helped, you help somebody in a particular way. And many years down the line, your child is looking for help and chances on this person. And because your child bears your name and he mentions your name, sometimes somebody may not even be related to you, but because you are called Banahene and this person needs help and is called, it strikes a bell. And the person is obligated to help that person. And so be sure that whatever you give out, you will always get it back. It is a law of nature, and it does not depend on man. Because man sometimes can be very tricky. That is why David said that he doesn't want to fall into the hands of men. Generally, men will give back, but nature would always ensure that you get back from life what you give into life. And a lot of the time, you get more than you put in. In terms of business, reciprocity would ensure that you get things like strong networking relationships. Excuse me. And then, for example, if it will bring you benefits, including referrals. So in my line of work, for example, I work with a lot of other doctors in other fields. And I've had them refer clients to me because of maybe somebody has come to my workplace. The person needs a particular specialist referral. And so I call the surgeon or I call the gynecologist and tell them that I've seen this patient who has this problem. And so I'm referring her to you to manage. I do that over time, and you realize that with time, these people also feel like, okay, so she's sending me cases and she's in Kaswa. Why don't I also direct my patients who live in Kaswa to a facility to do scan? That is how it works. One person would have to initiate it. What happens when reciprocity is absent? A lot of things. Oh, this one there, let me ask people. I'm opening the floor. So based on the little discussion that we have had on reciprocity, although a lot of you didn't say anything, I want to find out, what do we think are the effects where there's no reciprocity? You give back, or you do a good deed, you repeatedly do a good deed, and you never get anything back.
floor is open for everyone to share his experience or his thoughts.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Cranton.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for giving us such a wonderful presentation on this important subject. I think on the question you asked, for me, this is my view. May be wrong or be right. I mean, there is no wrong and right, but I'm just expressing my thought. I believe that there are always two sides of the coin, right? So there is nothing like you giving and not getting. Sometimes we don't see the results because we are actually expecting it from a different angle. For example, and I think it's a normal phenomenon. People even say that I've always been giving, but I'm not receiving. Or I've been so good to this person and he's not, he's not being good to me. I think in one way or the other, if you are on this platform, you have been in any relationship before, whether boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, father, mother, whatever it is. In most cases, there is always a giver and there's a receiver, right? And sometimes, especially if the person you are giving to does something that you are hurt, we complain that, oh, I did this for that person and he never gave back. Instead, he paid me back, and all that. I think per the law, as you stated emphatically, law is a law, and laws work whether we are conscious of it or not. So anytime you give, every deed is a seed. Every action is a seed. Every thought is a seed. Every word is a seed. And as it's a seed will always, once the viable conditions are provided, which it always does in terms of distance, is going to come back to us. So it's both ways, whether negative or positive. So if we give back, if we give good, definitely something good is going to happen. If we give something negative, then something negative is going to happen. So there is always a feedback. There is always a result, whether we see it or we don't see it. Sometimes, as you said, it may not come. You are giving money, but you may not see it in money. It may come in favors. It may come in favors. It may come in different ways. So all that we need to do is to actually open our eyes to see the opportunities. Thank you.
You're welcome, Doug.
Thank you. Anybody else has any thoughts? What happens to a plant if you don't feed it? Any farmers here? I'm sure definitely somebody has planted something before.
Dog, it will die in your face.
Yes. So, yes, thank you very much. That is true. So, if you have a plant and you are not feeding it, first of all, it will stop growing, right?
Sure.
And then eventually it will die. And also, although this concept you are talking about is a universal law, sometimes in certain scenarios we are dealing with people, and if it is a long-term relationship and the reciprocity in that relationship does not work, you end up becoming unhappy because you are a human being. Okay, you are a human being. So if there is any kind of relationship where there's an imbalance or absence of return of favor, so in a relationship, one part or one company is always on the receiving end, no matter how long it takes, the one party will be unhappy, will be discontented, there will be unmet expectations, the relationship becomes strained. Sometimes in marriages or love relationships, there are fights and quarrels. And eventually, if this is not looked at, reversed, the relationship will die. or come to an end. There's no two ways about it. It will come to an end. If one person is always giving, or if there's an imbalance in the, that is why in the beginning, one of the definitions I gave, I said something about mutually beneficial in a balanced way. So there are certain scenarios where it has to be balanced. If you don't balance it with time, and the time here is variable depending on the kind of relationship, depending on the spiritual stamina of the person you are dealing with. But invariably, there will come a time when the relationship will snap and break because the weight on one side is more than on the other side. What are the do's, the don'ts? If we want reciprocity to work best for us, especially as personal people, with our relationships. There's a verse in 1 Timothy 5:18. It says that do not muzzle an ox whilst it is treading out the grain, or the person who works deserves his wages. And so sometimes we are in a relationship where people are doing their best for us. Whatever they need to do for us, they are doing for us. But as for us, we are preventing them from getting anything out of the relationship. It is wrong. It is wrong. When you are getting things out of a relationship, also find a way to make sure that the person who is giving to you is getting something back. We shouldn't be too big. Sometimes we get power, or we become very big or very important in society, and people would be giving you appellations, respecting you, they'll be greeting you. People are honoring you and giving you respect, and that gets into your head, and then you feel that you deserve it, until they should give it to you. No matter where you are, you should also try and give back. If people give you honor them back. Whatever value people are putting on your life, give them some value back. Whatever we sow is what we reap. If people are loving you, love them back. Love them back. If you want to have friends, be friendly. If you want people to be nice to you, be nice to them first. Be nice to them first. And there's a word of caution here. Don't use reciprocity as a manipulative tool. If you use it as a manipulative tool, invariably at a point, the person on the receiving end would wake up. Don't say that you don't have anything to give. Sometimes people will tell you that, as for me, I don't have money. Mommy Sky gives me money, I don't have money. Look, you don't need to give back to the people who do the same thing. There is always something you can give. There is always something you can give. You can give your time, you can give talent, you can give devotion, you can give energy, you can give money, you can give love, you can give faithfulness, commitment.
So how do we foster reciprocity in our interactions? There are a few things that we can do that can foster reciprocity. And the first thing is that we need to be proactive. We need to learn to take the initiative to offer help or support to others. And we should do that without expecting anything in return. But invariably, when you do that, you set the stage for people to want to also do the same for you. The second thing is that we need to be able to express gratitude. When someone extends or assistance to you, be thankful. Thankful. Express your gratitude and acknowledge their efforts. The next thing is that we should be open.
Dog, we can hear you.
We should be open to receiving. We should allow others to. When people offer help or support, be open to receive it. Accept it very graciously. And when you do that, you foster reciprocity. When people help you and you show appreciation, you accept it. It encourages them to do more for you.
Because if somebody tries to reach out and be friendly to you and you are not friendly back, it is very difficult that the next time they would want to come back to you and start a conversation with you. So be open gestures. Pay it forward. Pay it forward. When someone does something kind or helpful for you, consider paying it forward by extending a similar act of kindness either to the same person or to someone else. And this also perpetuates a cycle of reciprocity. And that reminds me of I love country music a lot. And there is this country music. I'm trying to remember the title, but it tells a story about, I think, the circle of love. That's maybe the title or something like that. And that explains this concept, Lover Like Me. Look for a country music with the title Circle of Love and then listen to it. And then one thing you also can do in your relationship to foster reciprocity is to communicate your needs. You need to communicate clearly what your needs and expectations are to your partner, to your co-workers, to your boss, to your workers. And that gives them an opportunity to be able to help and support you. Sometimes there are people who want to help us, but they have no idea how they can help. And so by communicating what your needs, your expectations, your lives are, you help to make it easier for them to show you kindness. Finally, 3 things that I want all of us to take out of this meeting. The first thing is that reciprocity is one of the laws that will bring you success, whether in business, in relationships, or in society in general. So make use of this law. Deliberately and inadvertently use the law. There are times when the law will work for you, whether you know it or not. But I want us to increase our gains by deliberately also practicing reciprocity. 2, change the investment if you want the outcome to change. So whatever situation you have in your life now, whether it is relationship, whether it is work, it doesn't matter what it is. If the outcome you are getting is not what you want or is less than desirable, please change the investment, change what you are putting into it. If either you change what you are putting into it, you find other things to put into it, or increase how much of whatever you are putting into it. If it is not working for you, look at it again and change how you are doing it. And last but not the least, in all your dealings in this life, always remember that what goes around comes around. And on that note, thank you very much for listening in. Thank you for your contributions. At this point, we are opening the floor one last time for any contributions, comments, and recommendations.
Wow. If it's not working for you, change how you're doing it. That's amazing. Doc, thank you very much for this beautiful presentation given us. We would open the floor for questions. So if you have any questions you would want to put, before the house, your questions are welcome. You can put up your hand, I'll call you, then we take it from there.
Hi, Doc. Thank you so much for this insightful topic. I would want to find out, people say karma, 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 karma. Does it have any relationship with reciprocity? Thank you.
Doc, are you going to be taking the one after the other, or we would ask the questions in bulk and you would answer everything? Doc, are you going to be taking the one after the other, or we would ask the questions in bulk and you would answer everything?
Sorry, I couldn't hear her. The line kept going on and off.
Okay, so Lily, can you ask your question again?
Yes, hello, Doc. Please, I was saying that is there any link between reciprocity and karma? Because people normally use the word karma a lot. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Lily. I think that yes, it is basically the law of reciprocity at work when people say karma, because whatever you put into life, you do get it back. Yes, yes.
All right. Lily, are you answered? Hello, Lily, are you there?
Answered, yes. I get it.
All right. Any other question you would want to ask? But before your question, Doc, let me ask this. What is the difference between is there a difference between reciprocity and the law of attraction?
Yes, I think they are not the same. Because, for example, in the field of work where people are sending you referrals because you also send my colleague gynecologist cases, and then so he's paying me back because I started to send him cases, but we are not necessarily attracted to each other. And the great thing about the law of reciprocity is that you don't even need to like the person. Sometimes you don't even like the person, but the law still works. So somebody who, I'm sure there have been times when people have done good deeds for their enemies. And some people are so callous that even when people do good things for them, they decided that this man is my enemy, I don't like him. So the man who blessed him, he still doesn't like the man. But because he is not God, the person who does a good deed would always get his reward back. And it's good you asked me to speak, because I want to mention that the title of the song I was referring to is A Chain of Love, and it was sung by Clay Walker.
Okay, Chain of Love. Okay, we'll go and find it and listen to it, Doc. Any questions? Doc, I hope contributions are also welcome.
Hello, are we still on?
Yes, Doc, I hope contributions are also, welcome. Maybe somebody would like to share an experience or something. Are they also welcome?
Oh, yes, of course. I would love them.
Doc, somebody wants to know. Okay, Doc.
Yes, I would love them.
Okay, Doc, somebody wants to know whether the law of reciprocity is biblical.
Yes, the law of reciprocity is biblical. There are several scriptures to back it up. One that comes off the top of my head, the Bible says that as long as the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest time will never cease. As long as the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest time will never cease. That scripture in Ecclesiastes, there's a time for everything. And one of the examples it gave was that there's a time to sow and a time to reap. A time to sow and a time to reap. I think I mentioned a few more during the presentation. The Bible also says that do not be fooled. Whatever a man sows, that shall he reap.
So, off the top of my head, these are a few verses that address the subject of reciprocity.
All right. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? Sylvia, you looked up your hand, but I don't know whether. Hello. Hello, Doc. Yes, I would like to add something to, I think, your question on the law of attraction and the subject matter for today. Okay. In my understanding, the law of attraction is more about you, the person, and what you are thinking, right? It's more about your thoughts. There is even a scripture in the Bible that says that you are what you think, right? In the book of Proverbs, it says that as you think, so are you. Yes. So, in other words, all of us have expectations. Our expectation may be something that we think will happen or something we think will not happen. For example, with this podcast you guys are doing, before you started, probably there was an expectation. The question you people may be asking was whether or not people will come, how will it go? So sometimes we create our own event in our head based on certain things, based on our own fears, based on what people say, based on circumstances, based on our own past. And that expectation is what we get. In fact, we don't get anything outside our own expectations of ourselves or of the event we are experiencing. And that, to me, is the law of attraction. It simply means you get what you expect. Okay? So, for example, if you are somebody who goes to work late every day and you want to stop going to work late every day, instead of you to stop giving yourself excuses of why you have to go to work every day, you should work on how you can get to work early. So basically, in this world, if you have noticed, everything is all about fighting against. Our mindset is more about the negative. And definitely, once your mindset is fixed on anything negative, that is going to be your outcome. Reciprocity we are speaking of is more about give and take. Okay, I think it has maybe some sort of link, but what I can think of as typical example, if you read the Bible, there was a point where Jesus met Nicodemus. I don't know if you remember. Many of you, those of you are probably pastors or men of God on the platform. Jesus addressed Nicodemus that, "Whoa, righteous man," or something like that. This guy had already planned to say something funny or something stupid to Jesus. But because he addressed him very well and very nice, the guy humbled himself and they spoke. Right? So definitely sometimes when you want to deal with difficult people, if you start well, no matter how proud or no matter how high the person is, they'll come down to your level. So I think there is still a link, but law of attraction has got more to do with your mindset. Okay, your mindset. But in the case of our subject today, whether the person is good or evil, even this thing, it works on animals. Okay, if you're very nice to dogs, they will be nice to you. And I think all of us are witnessing what I'm saying. But if you're very mean to them, they can be mean to you also. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Collins, for this explanation. Sylvia, the floor is yours now. You can ask your question.
Okay, please, thank you. Please, I would like to ask if the concept of empathy is the same as reciprocity, or there is a difference between the two. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Sylvia, thank you very much for your question. I'll give my opinion, and I mean, anybody else on the platform can also give their opinion. Basically, when we talk about empathy, empathy is an emotion when you are able to place yourself in the other person's shoes so that you can feel whatever they are feeling. If it is sadness, you're able to feel the sadness that they feel. If it is joy, if it is disappointment, that is empathy. It doesn't necessarily translate into you doing something for somebody. It does not necessarily translate into you. The empathy may cause you to want to do something for them or with them. And that kicks in the law of reciprocity. But the empathy alone, you feeling or putting yourself in their shoes, it does not precipitate any action. You need to follow up with an action before you kick in the law of reciprocity. So if, for example, somebody is in a position where they are sad and you are able to put yourself in their shoes and feel whatever emotion they are feeling, that's empathy. That emotion may cause you to put an arm around them and comfort them or do some other kind of action. It is the action that precipitates an equal reaction at another time, but not the raw emotion of empathy by itself.
Okay. Dr. Collins, would you like to add any? Okay. All right.
It's gone off.
So any other questions? Doc, before any of our audience's questions come, let me ask this. This is a little, I'll share a little personal experience and I'll add a question. Growing up, I couldn't read for 16 years of my life. So I was labeled with dyslexia. And it crippled, somewhat killed me psychologically. So when I built up, and was able to read, I became very bitter, most especially around the people that mocked at me when I was in basic school, around the teachers. Anytime I meet these teachers, in the days of old, I was very bitter, very, very bitter, around these people. But books saved me. Reading White saved me. So I want to ask, people who suffer from stuff like I suffered, how will they be able to, reciprocate good things to those people who mocked at them, those people who laughed at them, those people who ridiculed them, those people who somewhat, we may say, they even like them? How will they reciprocate when they come out of what they were in? I am now okay, but I'm just asking the question in general, so it can help other people as well.
People who suffer from, I missed part of the question.
Okay, so people who suffer from maybe diseases like that or things, labels like that, how will they reciprocate good to those people who ridiculed them, who laughed at them, mocked at them? How will they reciprocate good to society? Because some people grow up like that and they become very, very resentful. Very, very resentful. I've met a lot of these people. So how will they be able to give good to society and people who ridicule them?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think it is a very good question. The thing about life is that every kind of problem we have is because of a knowledge gap. Okay. So, for example, we feel resentment to people who have, who have treated us badly in the past. But if you have read well or learned and understand what bitterness or anger can do to you as a person, you'd realize that it is not worth holding a grudge. You'd realize that. And so anything and any effort you would make to release those people, to forgive them, you do it. One time I was very young, and that is why reading is one of the best things we can do for ourselves. Read and gain knowledge, and the knowledge you may not need today, but tomorrow a problem will arise in your life, and the knowledge you have gained from reading is what will solve the problem for you. You need to read, you need to listen to other people. I'll give you a personal example. I am a divorcee, and at the time my marriage broke, I was very bitter, I was very angry against my ex-husband, against a lot of other people who were in my life at the time when this happened. But then as I began to heal, as I began to read about these things, I got to know that every kind of adversity in life, it's two sides. There's always two sides to a coin. Whatever situation, there's a positive side and a negative side. And I realized that the things that I went through, they had a positive side. I was able to learn from all the reading I was doing that because of this, I have become this. Because of this, I have become that. And the more I learned about my situation and how it has, I made a choice that I will not let that experience keep me better, but I'll flip to the other side where I would appreciate the things that experience brought to me. And once you begin to look at things in a different way, because you have knowledge, the way you feel becomes different, how it affects you becomes different. And so now the people that were in my life at the time, when I think about them, I thank God for them. And it is not just about reading. There are some of these things you need the Spirit of God to help you. For those of you who are Christians like me, it doesn't come easy. You need to ask the Spirit of God to help you. But once you have knowledge brings light. It brings illumination. And it causes you to see things differently. I hope I have answered at least part of your questions.
No, you've nailed it. You've nailed it. Yeah, you've nailed it. You've nailed it. Any other questions?
Yeah, no, my like we are in church, Visa.
let me share this. Let me share this before somebody comes in to ask a question. With the example dog you are looking for, when we started, you asked the question that we should give some examples pertaining reciprocity, maybe an event that has happened in our lives and things of that sort.
Yes.
When I was in AHS, there was this good friend of mine. He was literally like a brother. So when we were about registering for WASI, he didn't have any. He was taking care of himself, so he didn't have anybody. He didn't have any money as well to pay for the registration fee. At the time, I didn't also have money, but naturally, I love people. I love people naturally. So this guy, the not being able to register, didn't make me sleep. So I spoke to my dad about his situation, and I told him that I would want him to meet my dad. So he met my dad, and he spoke to my dad, and my dad was able to pay for his registration fee. And now this guy is a lab technologist. And I was once in Accra, and I needed help, an urgent help. And he was the one that took care of literally everything I needed at the time. So that's my side of reciprocity.
Wow. That's a good one.
So any questions? Any questions? If you have any question, you can put it on the table. Dog would break it down for.
This is a comment.
Okay.
Dog. Yeah. So what I've also noticed is that sometimes even the good you do, it doesn't necessarily come back to you, but even your generation, your children, your great-great-grandchildren and all that. And I am a proof of that. The things I am enjoying, I can say maybe, yes, some is from what I also do, but I think most of it is from what my parents have done for people in the past. Like, I have witnessed these things, and what I am enjoying currently, yes, maybe I'm one way or the other, I've also helped people, but I don't think that alone has validated me to enjoy what I am enjoying now. Is basically because of what maybe people did in my generation or what my parents did, because I never really have to really struggle to get things. Even like when people say, oh, when I was coming to Canada, I didn't know how it's going to be because, yes, my auntie is here, my family is here, but it only ends at a point in time. But I say this to the glory of God, that since I came here, I've never had to face any difficulty, like anything beyond me, that even when it's about to hit there, something comes up from nowhere. Like I'm not expecting anything, but something comes up and it's being fixed. So if sometimes you even doing good, it's not just about you, but think about others, like your generation, because most people are enjoying what their parent did, their grandparent did, and not even what they did. Because sometimes you can look at somebody and you're like, but the person's life is moving on well. It's not just about you. It's like it's a collective effort. It's a compound effect. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you to Lady. All right, Sylvia, you can ask your question. So we'll take the last two. We'll take the last two, then we wrap up so Dog can go, go out of I don't even know how to put it. But Sylvia, go on.
Okay, it's not actually a question, but I would like to build on what Miss Lily said.
Okay. You have the floor.
Yeah, so I would say my dad was a very generous man, but right now he's no more. And the people that he supported, one of them thinks if not for my dad, he wouldn't have been where he is now. So right now it's like he's returning all the favors to us, like we the kids. Yeah, to the extent of even naming one of his sons after my dad and all that. So I think that's also reciprocity. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Wow. Beautiful experiences. Any maybe one or two, then we wrap up. Any one. Genevieve, you've not spoken. Godson, you've not spoken. We are waiting on you. Augustus, you've not spoken. Eben, you've not spoken. Fredia, you've not spoken. We are waiting on you to say something. Hamida, you've not spoken. Hey, Senior Isaac, you are here, and the last time you spoke, so we would want to hear your voice. Jerry, you've not spoken. Justin, you've not spoken. Letitia, you've not spoken. We are waiting on you guys to.
Enoch.
Yes, sir.
I haven't spoken because I really sent the link to me late.
Okay.
So and behind the stage, I told her why I'm not speaking today.
Okay.
So, but I'm just following through.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we better say something.
Doc, I'll say something the next time. But I'm really
I know you can say something. something. I know you can say something.
Anyway, it looks as if I'm being forced to say something, so I'll say something. Anyway, yes, I think Dr. Collins came in and really made us understand the clear difference between reciprocity and then the other one.
The law of attraction.
Yes, the law of attraction, and I think it was his position is very clear, because the attraction it actually depends on you, your output towards people. Sometimes you how you go about your things. If you are that haphazard, you are very not mindful of yourself, you are not mindful of your environment, you will be attracting such negative things. But if your output, your outlook is positive, you are very conscious of your environment, people you interact with and all that, you will be getting attracted to such positive stuff. So the law of attraction is different. But the reciprocity, it's about your deeds. And you don't expect to always be at the receiving end whilst you don't give. And I think it's biblical. I'm told the more you give, the more you receive. So that is how I do understand the two. So that is my little contribution. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. All right. Any other before we wrap up? Maybe somebody can also top up, Senior Isaacs. All right, Augustus, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I'm glad for this opportunity. I think someone asked whether the law of reciprocity is in the Word of God. So those of us who like the scriptures, 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 1. That was when David asked that, is there yet any that is left of the house of Saul, that I may show kindness for him, that I may show kindness for Jonathan's sake. So I think that it is the law of reciprocity that we are talking about here. Because of Jonathan, because of the good that Jonathan did for David, he found a way of helping someone. And then it so happened wonderfully that Mephibosheth enjoyed of the benefit thereof. So I think that it is also an example. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Augustus. Thank you for your contribution. We are very grateful. Very, very grateful. Dog, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm enjoying all the contributions.
Oh, okay. I thought we sent you on a holiday. Okay. All right. So,
I'm enjoying.
Any other? Maybe let's take the last question or last contribution before we wrap up. Okay, Godson, you have the floor.
All right, thank you for the opportunity. Please, I came very late. Actually, I didn't listen to the presentation. I'm yet. I joined when the question started coming. So I also want to ask one question. There is, per my understanding of reciprocity, it means because of what you do, somebody will reward you or reward your people one day. Please, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so should we say that whatever we do today, we shouldn't expect a positive result back? As in, because I'm good to people, I should expect them to be good to me as well. If I have this mentality, is it bad?
All right, Doc.
Yes, so thank you for your question. The thing is that, like we said in our presentation, when we generally do good, for people, we should not expect that immediately at the time they will do good back to us. When you do it that way, it's more like what we call a transaction. The law of reciprocity is different from transaction. So you do good to people without expecting that immediately at that time they'll do good in return. And we mentioned that with reciprocity, you don't necessarily get the reward you may get it from the same people at a different time in a different form, but sometimes you get it in a different form and through different people. And so the point is that we need to understand that whatever we give to life, we get it back some way, somehow, in a different form. And in a lot of times, we get it back in multiple folds. So yours is to give to life what you want out of life. If you want love, give a lot of love. If you want friends, be friendly. And generally, people will react in the way you react to them. Sometimes they don't, but the universe never forgets. Whatever you give to life, to the universe, you get it back.
All right. I think I get it now. Thank you.
You're welcome, Godson. Okay, on that set, we would like to wrap up. So, Doc, your final words, please. Dr. Rosemond, we are waiting for your final words.
Thank you very much, everyone on this platform, for your time and for paying attention, listening to what I have. I've enjoyed everybody's contribution as well. My take-home message is that although reciprocity is a law, so even if you don't deliberately set it into motion, it is going to work for you. I want each and every one of us to try and take it into another dimension where we are deliberate about the kinds of things we put into life in our relationships, the things we put into our workplace. Every kind of relationship that you have, be deliberate about what you put into it. In the same way, if you have people in your life who are pouring into you, find ways to also pay them back. Never say that you don't have. There's always something we can give back. God bless you.
God bless you. God bless you more, Dog. God bless you more, Dog, for making time with Empire 360 podcast. We are very grateful, and we are privileged having you. We know that you have a very tight schedule, but you still made time to.
As you've really blessed us today, and I just want to say thank you, and may God bless you in all your endeavors, and may He keep increasing you in knowledge and everything. Thank you. You've been a blessing to us, and thank you everyone for making it a point to join us. Thank you, Doc. I mean, without you guys, this program wouldn't be a success. We plan, we organize, but God has the final say. And without your support and without you being here today, this cannot be called a program. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. And as for Enoch, thank you so much. Okay, so Enoch, yeah, you can take over.
All right, that was Lily. Yeah. All right, thank you, Sir Isaac. I don't know if you. I hope you don't mind call you Sir Isaac or Senior Isaac or Mr. Isaac.
Whatever.
We are very grateful for you being a part of this program. We are very grateful for everyone that has always supported us. Very, very grateful. Yeah, I see Augustus laughing. Augustus, we are very grateful for taking out your time to be with us. We're very grateful. We have a lot of. Let me say this before I forget. We should make time to research about G6PD. what's the name? I think the gospel musician that passed, he suffered from that. I would urge every one of us to make time and research about that. It would really, really help, because I notice a lot of people who don't really have any idea or somewhat what's that, is. And we have some lab technologists around, so if you want to also check, whether you have that or not, you can DM me, DM Lily. We would, connect you to these lab technologists so you can check your status. Thank you very much, everyone.